Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another week live broadcast. Time flies when you're having fun. So this week, what I have ordered and I have prepared to unbox is the Phicen TBLeague Red Sonja Steampunk Edition, I believe is what it's called. But I didn't buy it for that. I really don't even know who Red Sonja is. I bought it because when I seen that figure, I said to myself, that's Mary Jane. Spider-Man needs a real Mary Jane. Mary Jane Watson. So we will be turning our Red Sonja into a Mary Jane Watson. Parker. Also, today is the day that Comic-Con open registration begins. For those of you like myself who have never attended a Comic-Con, you have to have signed up for the open registration, then be sent an email telling you when the open registration is, with an ID log on for the open registration, in the beginning at 8 a.m. my time, so that's in an hour, and until 9 a.m. my time, so during 1 hour, you have to log into the specific website where they will randomly choose people, evidently, to be allowed to purchase tickets to Comic-Con. And evidently there's no guarantee of whether or not you'll be chosen at all to even be allowed to purchase tickets. And they state that logging in at 8 o'clock in the morning versus logging in at 8:50 in the morning has nothing to do with increasing your odds of being chosen. So at about 8:40, so in 40 minutes, I'm going to move the live stream to my other computer, because I don't trust this one. And I will sit in the room at that point in anticipation of being able to be chosen to purchase a ticket for San Diego Comic-Con. So that's what I've got going on. So, of course, again, they no longer call themselves Phicen, they call themselves TBLeague. But they'll always be known as Phicen as far as I'm concerned, I guess. Everything had something to do. And I made a video concerning all of this. Some body, I think in Japan, copyrighted their name or trademarked their name or did something or other. And or then was selling or providing products of inferior quality, claiming that it was theirs, which they were not, and so they decided to change their name to TBLeague. So that's how that story went down. So on these plastics like this, what I tried to do is, at all possible, attempt from having to totally rip this off, because this is like a sealed plastic, and I like to try to keep this whole if I can. But in this case, she's not staying the steampunk Red Sonja. She's going to be Mary Jane. So I guess it's really not that important, truthfully. I'm literally still waiting for the live video to come up on this other computer. So I've not been able to see any chat. I've seen it pop up here on the screen, but I wasn't fast enough to actually see any of it. So this is probably a magnetic opening box. I'll try to preserve this plastic if at all possible. I don't know why. Shed a little light on the subject. So I love Phicen figures. Love them. There are reports that sometimes they don't last very long. Certain ways you need to take care of them, etc. Yeah, magnetic enclosures holding this case on. The cover to it. All right, here we go. Dutch and I still waiting. Sorry about Dustin. Sorry about the wait. Looks like you're never doing it. I'd take it down, buddy. Take what down? This? I'm here, man. I am here. I hope you are still, Dustin. Noble, how's it going, man? Give him a little time. Thank you, Noble. Hello, Siri. How are you this weekend? I am well. My back is absolutely killing me. So here's the instructions for this. By the way, so I sold my Mark 47. I sold Spider-Man Far From Home Homecoming Edition movie, Far From Home movie promo edition. And I sold a Scarlet Spider. Those were all brand new, never unboxed. Sold them on eBay. I've not been paid for them yet. One is going all the way to England. So congratulations to you two who purchased those. And still, I need about $1,200. My wife says I need to sell between 10 and 20 figures. So, whatever that's worth. Here's the instructions on these figures, on how they can move, and how to interchange hands and heads and whatnot. So, in case you're curious, it does show with these instructions feet, and I was kind of curious as to whether or not she comes with feet or if her boots are permanently attached to the figure, because that can be an issue when making Mary Jane. Save on. Good morning, Siri. Good morning, Save on. Actually, I'm assuming you are in France, so it would be let's see. Bonjour is good day, right? How would you say good afternoon or good evening? Bonsoir. So here's how she's coming packed. And it's interesting also, I told you guys last week of this group that I discovered. They've been around for 10 years, so I certainly didn't discover them. But YouTube recommended them to me, and I've really been enjoying their videos. And they're a steampunk group. So it's funny that this is a steampunk figure. The two had nothing to do with either or, to tell you the truth. But I've really been enjoying watching steam-powered giraffes videos, hearing them perform. Amazing. They're a little musical group that also performs comedy, and they act like as if they're 1890s steampunk robots, automatons. Their voices are amazingly tuned. I'm just so impressed. It's not even funny. Let's see if I can get a little more room here. And I've always thought to myself, man, it would be neat to get involved in steampunk. I'm involved in so much stuff as it is. But I really respect the guys and the gals that do that, build their little costumes and create characters and a backstory, and it's just a neat little fun little thing, it appears. We have a steampunk pistol. Deadpool will enjoy getting this. Deadpool gets all the fun stuff. I give him all the stuff that comes with the figures that don't really have a home or a place. Little pistol here. Are the lights helping, or is it too much? Thomas Ferry, hello, how are you? See if there's anything underneath this. Sometimes there's, cloaks. Hopefully a stand. Sometimes these don't come with a stand. Sometimes they do. And there is stuff under here. Pretty cool little shield. Of course, none of this has anything to do with my Mary Jane. Unless Mary Jane decides she wants to be steampunk. Green Weeaboo! Does this new YouTube thing scare you? YouTube sent me an email demanding that I inform them whether or not my channel and videos are one of three options. First option, geared towards children. I'm pretty sure all of you can agree that my videos are not geared toward children. Matter of fact, Hot Toys say specifically recommend for ages 15 and up. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily consider somebody who's 15 a pure-on mature adult. No offense to any of you young men out there or women. There are states here in the United States, and I imagine countries, where the age of consent is much lower than 18, which is the legal age to sign your name in any contractual obligation. I believe in some states it's 16. There might even be some states where 15 actually is the legal age of consent. So I imagine then that does make you an adult. I don't believe that my brain was fully formed in regards to thinking like an adult until I was well into my 30s. And I believe that there are women who probably have become mature much younger than 30. They may be fully on mature at 18 or even 15. But so I had to answer whether or not, one, it was geared towards children, my channel. Two, my channel was not geared toward children. Or three, my channel could be geared toward children or not, and I will choose each video as to whether or not it is geared toward children. And any video that I post that would be made toward children could not be monetized in any capacity. So I just simply stated not geared towards children and ended it right then and there. Now, that doesn't mean 18 mature, videos. They still expect you to make PG style videos. So it's ridiculous. It's gosh darn stupid. And this world's done lost its frickin' mind. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. So that's where that is. So no, my videos, I don't believe have ever been geared towards children. So these are toys, but they're also collectibles. And sometimes I buy a toy. But I'm not out there, making videos that are specifically geared towards children per se. Looking at Sonja here, I'm going to put my glasses on. She's not as attractive as I wish she were. I want to get a good look at her. And yeah, she's a pretty just plain Jane. She's not unattractive. She's not necessarily blowing me away attractive, but she works. She's got these neat little braids. She's braided her hair 4 times, and she has loose, long hair. So it's not necessarily how I expected Mary Jane to look, but it works. The hair is gorgeous. She'll be my Mary Jane. And here you can see she has 4 groupings of her hair braided. So I can gather up her loose hair and have just her braids hanging down. Which is cool. I don't ever remember seeing Mary Jane Watson with her hair braided, but that's all right. Doesn't matter, really. It's my Mary Jane. You can make your own Mary Jane. Until we have a Mary Jane Watson, this will be my Mary Jane. Save on, you're in New York. I'm named after Ice Cube's character in the movie Trespass, and that movie is a super deep cut. I'll have to check that out. I don't believe I've ever seen that. David Lafayette. That light is too bright with the white table in the background, making it harder to see the figure. Thank you. Is that better? These braids out here again so you can see that. I think save all means bathroom. Bathroom or soup in French. People used to think of the tap dancer. Interesting. Oh, come on. The stupid mouse. Thomas, thank you very much for that response. Yeah, good luck to you, Green Weeaboo. You've been working on our channel for a few years, and it's absolutely ridiculous. YouTube has gone stupid. YouTube first went stupid about 3 years ago with the first adpocalypse, and it just keeps getting more and more stupid. I hate to say it. It's stupid. It's gone stupid. You know, this is a very popular way of thinking of dealing with people. You can please all of the people some of the time. You can please some of the people all the time. But you'll never please all of the people all of the time. And these corporations are making these idiotic rules trying to please all of the people all of the time. And you can't do it. Or, even worse, they're pandering to the 1% and expecting the 99% to conform to the requests and requirements of 1%. Life sucks. You don't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want, right? According to the Stones. But if you try some, or the Who, and if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. And that's the way it is. When I was growing up, there's a group of us that want ice cream, and you go into the store to buy a gallon of ice cream that's going to go be spread between the people, and you can only afford 1 gallon of ice cream. You get what the majority wants. Chocolate, 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 vanilla. You're getting chocolate. I'm sorry that you want vanilla, but the group of us is getting chocolate. If you want ice cream, you're going to have to eat the chocolate. Otherwise, you don't get ice cream. That's life. Sometimes you lose. You know, I forget which movie it was, some martial arts movie. The guy's talking about fighting different people. You know, this is how the style you fight when you fight one person. This is the style when you fight two people. This is the style when you fight three people. And the student says, well, what happens when you have, 10 people you're fighting? And the master looks at him and says, hey, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you lose, guys. Oh, my goodness. When did it get to the point where people have just totally decided that things are going to be for everybody all the time? It's not like that. Life is not like that. I mean, I talk to these people that are, oh, I'm so depressed, my life sucks. Hey, everybody's life sucks. Money can't buy me love, can't buy me love, can't buy me love. Money can't buy me love. We all want to be loved. We all want to be happy. We all want to be endeared. We all want to be in a position where we feel important. Life sucks. Get over it. Hiya, Siri, waves, hi. Robert, just a fan, welcome. You worry about that YouTube garbage and being penalized for $50,000. No, I just told him I don't make videos for kids. If kids want to watch my videos, God bless you. This is not geared towards you. Simple as that. Right in the box. Ages 15 and up. Let's see what this one says. Adult collectible, not a toy. So which line was it on? Right here underneath the red triangle where it says warning, it says adult collectible, not a toy. These are adult collectibles. I love the little commercial that Sideshow made where the guy's waking up, he's got his coffee, he's looking out in the window and he sees his son out there. We assume it's his son. In the sandbox playing with his figures. And he's like, oh, that's cute. Kid's out there playing with his figures. And he puts his glasses on and he realizes it's his collection. And drops his coffee. An insanely funny commercial. And that's how it is. These are not designed for kids. If you're a kid and you're collecting these, God bless you, man. You're in the right direction because these are amazing toys. But these aren't kids' toys. So what do we have here? These are things that Mary Jane will probably never wear. I was going after that head. So we don't have hands, we have gloves. Hopefully I have a body that matches, hands that match this body. So here's the three gloves that we have. They're identical, just the pose. So we have the relaxed hand, gloved hand. We have trigger, gloved hand. And we have a holding fist, gloved hand. And for the other hand, we have exactly the same thing. A little bit of gold work around the top of that. A slot right there. And then a gear on the back of this. So those are the hands. This is the, I guess this would be called a cutlass or a saber? What would you call this exactly? A long sword? What would you guys call this? Looks like a pirate sword to me. I would say cutlass. Probably wrong. Scabbard for it. Fits in there nicely. Showed you these with the light on them, so I don't know whether or not you could see them. If you guys are collecting this for the Red Sonja purpose, kind of why I'm showing you these things. Again, I don't know anything about Red Sonja, but I know a lot about Phicen figures, and I knew I wanted a Phicen Mary Jane, and she has beautiful red hair. My Mary Jane does, so that's why I picked her up specifically for that reason. So this is the shield. We have a little stretchable strappy here. I forget what they call this stretching fabric. and then a hard piece there for her to hold it with. So imagine the hand would go here, and the forearm would go here, the elbow in this capacity. So that would be down, sideways, and I guess that would be up. But they're holding our hand up. It would be sideways. Interesting concept. Neat little shield there. This is the gun again. Oh, look at that. Well, well, well. This is pretty doggone cool. The firearm breaks open. You can see the backs of rounds. The trigger will pull down. Or, I mean, the hammer will cock. And the, what would you call this? This barrel? It's not a barrel. But it revolves. It revolves. It's a revolver, and this revolves. Whatever this is called. I forget what this is called. It comes off. That's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. Daredevil's gonna love, or I mean, Deadpool's gonna love getting this little toy. So firearm. And steampunk goggles. So again, I don't know much about steampunk cosplay or role play or comics or storylines, but I've noticed a lot of them wear these goggles of some type of goggle. And so here's some goggles here as well for your Red Sonja steampunk. I am going to make her into Mary Jane right now. I deleted my 10 videos, but still worry they Joe when I get penalized. Yeah, they've lost their mind. I'd buy the other Red Sonja, and leave this one as is, and turn that one into MJ. The other Red Sonja was battle damaged, and that's why I didn't get that one. I didn't need a battle damaged, busted up Red Sonja. I assumed that the scars and whatnot on her body could not be removed. Can they? Did you say you are selling some of your clothes? Yes, everything is for sale. Everything. If you see it here, it's for sale. How is the missus doing? So she gets home health and physical therapy and occupational therapy that come by. It's funny. Occupational therapy, to me, sounds like they're preparing you for your occupation. You know, ditch digging, go grab a shovel, dig a ditch, or whatever it is that your occupation is. Occupational therapy, though, is the minutia of things other than physical therapy, which is strength training. So she had been getting home health where they come by and they say, how are you doing? How's your heartbeat doing? How's your, like a nurse does when you go see the doctor to check you out. Then she would get physical therapy where they would come through, stand up, sit down, walk, stand up, sit down, walk. And then occupational therapy would come by and they would say, let's teach you how to take a bath. Let's teach you how to cook. Let's teach you how to do this and that. What I've got here is poison. I opened up poison a few weeks ago. I bought 2 of these specifically for Mary Jane because I want to use the outfit here for her. So occupational therapy yesterday decided she was completely healed. She can't bathe herself. She can't dress herself. She can't cook. She can't clean. She can't do these things. But government-provided insurance doesn't allow you to get occupational therapy past 4 visits. Keep that in mind when you say that the government needs to provide you with your insurance. She receives Medicare because she's retired. She's over 65 years old. You have paid for Medicare your entire life. If you have a job, they take out federal income tax withholding, FITW, federal income, FICA, which is your Social Security, Medicare, Medi-Cal. You pay for that, and you pay for it when you start redeeming it when you turn 65. And every one of you, when you turn 65, are automatically enrolled in Medicare. You can't opt out of it. It's given to you. And then you got to pay for it. And she pays about $400 a month for it. So something she's been paying her entire life for, and still pays for it to this day, the congressman and the insurance company looks at it as if it's a benefit, not as though it is something that you paid for. You go to the store and you buy something, you pay for it, it's yours. You have some say-so over it because it is now yours. You have paid for this, they have to provide you with something. Not in their mind. In their mind, it's something that they're giving you as a benefit. Yeah, government insurance is good. Baloney. So yeah, no more occupational therapy. So I'm a little pissed about that, if you can imagine. That's not Mary Jane. She doesn't look like Zedai. Her name's Michelle. And she calls herself MJ. And let me tell you something. That's baloney. Because in storytelling, one thing that you have to do is you have to pay real particular attention as to the quality of the person that you are making your story about. Okay? In the movie The Notebook, now I've never read the book, in the movie The Notebook, they had to make sure that the woman in the story, the young lady in the story, the men that she chose was still part of her character. She couldn't have the choice of choosing these men that were absolute dirtbags, because that would reflect on how she is as a person. Now, I'm saying this to say this. Peter Parker falls in love with MJ. Now, we know about the multiverse. It was explained to us very well in Spider-Man Multiverse, and kind of touched on a little bit with Mysterio claiming to be from an alternate universe, and he was feeding us a bunch of lies, and he claimed he was from Earth 616, which he's not, or claiming that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Earth 616, which it is not. It is Earth 19999. So we know that the multiverse is there, and we know for the most part, the multiverse wants to still maintain a type of similarity. We know this about Deadpool. There's still that, but it's not very much. So, in Earth 19999, Peter Parker has fallen for Michelle, who calls herself MJ. It would be extremely shallow for Peter Parker, should he ever meet Mary Jane, to call her MJ. Come on. Would you want a girlfriend of yours calling you the nickname that she called her old boyfriend? Who the hell is she actually talking about? Let's say, for God knows whatever reason, your nickname happens to be Pookie. And that's actually what she called her other boyfriend, Pookie. So she's like, oh, Pookie, I love you. Who the hell is she really talking to? That kind of shows the character of that person. So for her to call herself MJ, Peter to call him to call her MJ, he could never essentially meet up with Mary Jane Watson and call her MJ. That would be rude beyond belief. It would be a shallow person to do that, truthfully. And it's wrong. And we know in the multiverse, when Peter, had divorced his wife or lost his wife or whatever, the hobo Peter, I forget if that was Peter B. Parker. I'm pretty sure it was Peter B. Parker. When Peter B. Parker comes back into Miles Morales' universe, and I don't know exactly what universe the multiverse movie is in. I really need to make a video about all the multiverses. He sees Mary Jane, who lost her Peter Parker, who was the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Peter Parker. And of course, we know Peter Parker's not blonde-haired, blue-eyed. He's always been brown-haired with brown or brownish eyes. He's not a blue-eyed character. He never was. And when I seen that, I'm like, what the hell? Peter's got blonde hair and blue eyes. But his wife was Mary Jane Watson. And Peter B. Parker's wife was Mary Jane Watson. And there was that connection there. So for the most part, it follows a similar line, but sometimes it varies. Okay? So I accept the fact that it can vary. I accept the fact that Michelle can call herself MJ. But now, for Peter to ever meet Mary Jane Watson, whether or not they decide that to be the case, he couldn't with good conscience call her MJ. That's just, it would be wrong. It'd be so wrong, it's not even funny. It's wrong. It's wrong. Now, let's say, for instance, you get you a new boyfriend or whatever, and his name is Bob, and the old boyfriend's name was Bob. You call both of them Bob. Okay, that's one thing. But MJ is a nickname. It was just wrong for them to do that. It really was. He's got Gwen Stacy and Betty Bryant, I forget now what her name was, that he dated before meeting Mary Jane. He has Felicia Hardy. There's other love interests that were there. His first love interest wasn't Mary Jane Watson, who later became Mary Jane Parker. His first love interests were those three, essentially. Felicia Hardy, he didn't know he had a thing going on with Felicia Hardy because she was the Black Cat. But she was a friend of his from school. So yeah, it's just wrong. You can't do that. Why am I selling stuff? Because, again, insurance only covers so much, 80%. It's 20-80 thing. They pay 80%, you pay 20%. And I got hit with about $4,000 worth of medical bills that need to be paid. And so I've went ahead and paid them. They had to be paid by the 15th. I've paid them. And now I think it's about $1,200 that I need to come up with still. So that's why I'm selling the figures. It certainly isn't because I'm getting out of the business. I'm certainly not, wanting to sell these because I want to sell them. I do not want to sell any of my figures ever. But I have sold some, and I'd really rather had not. But I fully intend to reacquiring them as it goes on. For instance, I guess you can't see them, but up on the shelf up here is, I don't know, I call it like the Holy Grail shelf. It's really, it is to some people, right? See if we can, right up here, we have the Secret Project, the gunmetal, the neons, and the blue stealth Mark III. And to some people, those are Holy Grails. And of course, they're for sale. But I didn't buy the Secret Project or the gunmetal brand new. All right, I had to chase those down. So even though the figures I'm selling now, I will reacquire them. I will get another Mark 47. That's the one that I sold. I already had a Scarlet Spider and the movie promo edition. I wanted to have 5 movie promo editions, 4 movie promo editions, because I wanted to have one for every movie, more or less. He was in Captain America Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and Spider-Man Far From Home. That suit was in all 5 of those movies. And there's different ways you can display him. For instance, let me show you how I displayed him. I took my one Far From Home that I kept. I bought 2 of them, or movie promo editions. I intended to buy 4, and what I did was I took the rest of the suit from Spider-Man Homecoming, and this is how my Spider-Man Far From Home movie promo edition is posed now. So I have my original Spider-Man Homecoming hanging upside down with his webbing in a classic hanging upside down Spider-Man pose. This, I took the extra pieces that came with Spider-Man Homecoming and attached them to the movie promo edition from Far From Home to recreate this type of a scene. Another one would be the webbing, where he has the wing webs That would be a third way of portraying them. And I really hadn't put much thought into two other ways, but I like to group them in some form of a fashion that shows the characters in the group that they're with. It's like this top shelf here is all the Avengers and Thanos there at the end. And one time or another, these people were or became an Avenger. And so it's my Avengers shelf. And there's every movie there, essentially, when you think about it, in one fashion or another. Kinda, not necessarily. But each character is represented. So I've got Phil Coulson, and I've got Civil War Falcon, and Thor from Infinity War, and Guardians of the Galaxy with Yondu, and Old Groot, and Avengers Hulk. So, I mean, that's the Avengers shelf. These guys, at one time in their lifetime, except for the bad guys down there, which is Thanos, were an Avenger. Or except for Hela. She's not an Avenger, but I got her hanging out here. For whatever reason, I don't know why Hela's here. I guess I got her with Thor and Loki. Would you consider Loki an Avenger? Probably not. So I guess Loki and Hela don't belong here. They probably belong down there with Thanos. But this is my Avenger shelf. I got Maria Hill and Nick Fury, and that's the Avenger shelf. So of course Spider-Man is here. And then I try to group them per se in different ways. I have my Spider-Man shelf. It's going to have to grow. There's more Spider-Man that will fit on that shelf. I got my Mark V shelf from Iron Man 2. So where are we at? We're doing a lot of talking, not getting any action done. I did sell on eBay at the two Spider-Man. I sold the Mark 47 straight out. Somebody emailed me. And there's a red sign without scarring. What's it called? If you're worried about scars on the body, just buy an extra Phicen body that matches. Good idea. Are you selling on eBay? How could I inquire about pricing? If you want to buy directly from me, you can Facebook Messenger me or send me an email at siriap@gmail.com. Just make sure that you make it very well known, because I'll skip through emails. If you don't hear a response back from me, I missed it, so send it again. Lost me at 65, you're forced to pay for Medicare? Yes, you are. There's two kinds, Medicare and Medi-Cal. If you're poor, you make less than the poverty level, which is, I think is $13,000 now, then you can qualify for Medi-Cal, which you don't pay for. But you've been paying for Medi-Cal your entire life. It's on your check. When you get your check with your withdrawals, it'll say FITW, FICA, Medicare, and Medi-Cal. You've paid for Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal is what's provided to people who can't pay for their insurance. Medicare, you pay for. Medi-Cal, you do not. If you have an income of greater than the poverty level, which I think, like I said, again, is like $13,000, then you don't qualify for Medi-Cal. You have to pay for Medicare. And if you don't buy your insurance, if you don't have insurance, then you'll find like $4,000. Thank God the government takes care of you. You're automatically enrolled in Medicare when you turn 65. Automatically. The only people who don't pay for it are people that are in poverty level. My wife pays $400 a month for her Medicare. And her only income is Social Security. And my income. And I make more than $13,000, I have to say. I don't make a lot of money. I'm not rich. I don't make six figures a year. Not at all. I only make half 6 figures a year. So I'm just like you guys, just average guy. Believe it or not. Call me Law, Pixel Gun Pro. How you doing, Law? If you call all your girlfriends Twinkie, there won't be a problem. Or, hey, baby works, right? Hey, what's going on, baby? I love you, baby. Oh, baby, you're such a good baby. You're the best baby in the world. If a girl even got my ex-girlfriend's name, I'm out, right? Hi, my name is Sarah. Oh, that was my last girlfriend's name. Nice knowing you. It's 10:40 Eastern Time. I have 7:46 Pacific Time. Wondering about Mark 46 Retro and the Mark 15. I would sell both of those, and I have them. Mark 46 Retro is Well, Mark 15 Retro is there. And the other Mark 15 is up here. Where's my Mark 46? Right here. And my Mark 46 Retro. I'd sell him. I hate to sell him, but I would sell him. Loki is a hard one to get. The Loki from the Avengers. I've got the Loki. Avengers Loki is a grail of mine. I really want the Avengers Loki. I've got the Loki, the most recent Loki. I think it's the Thor Ragnarok Loki, which is great. I love him, but he's not the Avengers Loki. I really want an Avengers Loki. That's one of my grails. Pretty much done with MCU. Got 46 in cap, and I'm good. But it'd be nice to get another 46. And I've got the 46s over here. Right back there on the shelf where the 47 used to sit. That was hard boxing up that 47, man. I really love that 47. Good day from Australia. Australia, proximity coverage only. Wow, Australia is a magical place to me. It's like one of those places that just seems so freaking cool to be from. Waves hi to Australian YouTuber. I've been taught how to say Australia. I thought it was called Australia because that's how most of us Americans say it, but it's incorrect. As you know, it's Australia. Australia. You said to need to get tickets. That's why I told you the time. 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, which would be 8, 9, 10, 11 to 12 a.m. Eastern time, right? 8, 9, 10, 11. So at 11:40 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to go to the other room. So we got an hour, right? Yeah, it's 7:49 right now. Mark 46 is a good one. I got that. I love it. The Mark 46 and Mark 47 are very cool because they light up. The whole body lights up. It's really neat. There's little lights throughout the whole thing. It's really cool. Mark 6 and Mark 4 diecast are similar in regards to the lighting up of the body, which is a really neat feature. I really, 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 really like that. You get these bodies here. I was hoping that they would have done that with the Iron Spider, because the Iron Spider lights up in his body. So does Mysterio. But they decided not to do that with the Iron Spider, and it appears that they're not doing that with the Mysterio either. So this is really cool for that reason. And this is the prototype, or Mark 46, what do they call it? I think it was called the prototype. There is specifically one difference between these two figures. In the photographs, there were about 4 differences. Once it actually went into production, there's only really one difference. And I'm not talking about the color scheme. I'm actually talking about a difference in the molding of it. So they didn't specifically take a Mark 46 and then just repainted it like they did with the Mark 7 multiple times. And if I remember correctly, it's in the thigh. So let me look, and I will show this to you. For those of you that don't know that there truthfully is a difference between these two figures. This is the Mark 45. This is not the Mark 46. Where's my Mark 46? Here's my Mark 46. It's a Mark 45. A lot of differences. Let's get the Mark 46 over here. It's funny. My wife will say, how in the world can you keep track of which one is which? I don't know. It's not always easy, evidently. All right. Mark 46. Here we go. All right. Right here in the thigh. Mark 46 thigh. Right here. This panel is smooth all the way down, top to bottom. Okay. See that? It's one piece starting right here all the way down to right above the knee. One solid piece. All right. Mark 46 Retro, or the gosh darn it, I forget the designer's name of what this is actually called. has in it a break right there. See that line? That line is not in the Mark 46. It's it. It's the only difference between the two figures. That thigh piece right there. In the prototype photographs, there were also some differences in the biceps, but they didn't make it to production. So the top of the body is exactly the same. Different paint schemes, okay? But the thighs are different. You see that line there in the gold? Halfway down that section of that panel, and there's no line on this one. They are truthfully different figures. Truthfully, simply because of one line. So it's not a repaint. A lot of you will make that false assumption or accusation that it's a hot toy money grab repaint. And it is not. And there have been, especially the Mark 7s, where they would literally just repaint the Mark 7 black, white, gold. Give it a different name. Same figure, exactly. This is not the same figure. The Mark 46 in this prototype edition, I forget what the actual name of it was. It's Ryan Meanderding. Meanderding? Help me out, guys. So that's what that is, this figure here. So a lot of you passed on it because you're like, I don't need a repaint of the Mark 46. It truthfully isn't. It truthfully is not a repaint of the Mark 46. Or the Mark 47, which is also a repaint of the Mark 46. There's no difference between the 46 and the 47, but the 47 doesn't have that. So this is actually the unique figure, if you will. And this is a 45. Funny, I thought this was the 46 over there. As soon as I grabbed it, I'm like, this ain't a 46, it's a 45. That's a 46. And that's in the news. Mark 46 is a good one. I got that. Spot on. Howdy, Robert. Just a fan. Proximity coverage. How you doing? Why is Australian and New Zealander a thing? What's that about? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just seems to be like magical for some reason. It's like Japan. My brother-in-law lives in Japan. He's lived in Japan longer than he does in the United States. He's fluent in Japanese. He worked for a company where he translated Japanese into English. And when he comes to the United States, he's like a foreigner. Born and raised in the United States, went to college in the United States, spent his entire growing up in the United States, got his job in Japan, moved to Japan, spent several decades there, and that is now his home. To me, Japan is magical, different. It's a different culture. It's a whole another thing. To him, it's just another day. And it just so fascinates me talking, every time I talk with him about life in Japan, it just blows my mind how they are. And it's the same way I look at Australia and New Zealand. I don't know why that is. I really don't know why that is. Interesting. Concept art. Thank you. Always heard don't confuse, but don't know why that's a thing. Concept art. 46 concept art. Yes, thank you. You mean the rivalry between Australia and New Zealand? Oh, is there a rivalry? I didn't know that. Are you planning on getting the Gauntlet Iron Man? You mean like the 1/6 scale gauntlet, just that gauntlet? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I didn't buy just the gauntlet. No. If only had hard to explain, I guess. Best way to explain it is like friendly rivalry between, say, U.S. and Canada. Yeah, diecasts are the best. Diecasts are the best. The 42, the original 42 is kind of a bust, and the Mark 3/2 are kind of a bust. Homecoming Tony, why did you leave us? Yeah. You could use Red Sonja first version, PL 2015-86. And that was not battle damage. I thought for fact that was a battle damaged Red Sonja. I really did. I got both 46ers. Just landed at Civil War just yesterday. So happy with it. It's way more awesome. I'm not kidding you. When I was boxing up that 47, I was literally fighting back tears. I don't know why. It's a really awesome figure. The 46/47 is an amazing figure. It really is. The 50 is neat. I don't know why the 46 and 47 are so emotionally attached to me. The 50 is neat. The 46 and 47. Holy cow. And I wish I had like 2 or 3 50s because there's so many different ways of posing him. You know what I mean? It's amazing. Canadians laugh out. Only cool Canadians are Shatner and Wolverine. Wait a minute. Isn't Deadpool a Canadian? I think he's pretty doggone cool. CW is the best one. Civil War. Yeah. Shats and Wolves is cool, but Wolves is awesome. Yeah, he is. Logan's from Australia. The 46 always worries me on the waist, kind of fragile to be twisting it and putting it in such. I've had that 46 in that position for half or forever. From like day one. And he seems to hold out. But yeah, I think when I look back at like my Iron Patriot and Hot Rod and that Mark 42, they seem to be really fragile in those original diecast lineups. The newer one seems to be much tighter and better. If at all possible, I try not to pose them into anything unusual. But he's been in that pose, this right here, pretty much from day one. I have him up against Civil War Cap, blasting onto his shield. So this is the pose that I have my Mark 46 in. And he seems to be doing all right. Twisted around, and I like the pose. So he seems to be okay. And I always I recommend these, or the polls. And they tell you, don't use the little crotch grabbers for the diecast figures. And then they included a crotch grabber for a diecast figure. I think it's the War Machine. They included crotch grabbers in. I'm like, what? Doesn't make any sense. So you always want to use one that's going to hold him up. All right, Logan is Canadian, right? I gotcha. I want to go to Japan. Hopefully one day I like the Japanese culture. I've never visited my brother-in-law in Japan, and I too would love to go to Japan. That also threw me. Technically, is Logan is Canadian, and Jackman is Australian. Yeah, that's the truth. Hong Kong me hot toy shops. Yeah, that would be cool to go to Hong Kong. Hong Kong also seems to be very magical. I didn't see any comics saying Logan was Australian. Yeah, he is. He was part of, when he was Weapon X, he was part of the Australian military and or CIA or whatever it is that they have up there. But yeah, Logan is 100% Australian. Only Jackman is Aussie, but he played Logan, Wolverine in the movies. So same. I'm looking for a Mark III. Do you have one for sale? Yeah. Yes, I do. I don't have a plastic Mark III. I have the Mark III blue with the red chest, and I have a Mark III diecast, which is in the other room. When we go over there, I can show that to you. I got him posed up against the Ironmonger, but the blue is a diecast, and I have the Mark III exclusive version, which is a plastic actually. So if you want a Mark III, and I have a Mark III that I've converted into a War Machine Mark II. Did a lot of work on that. I'll sell any of these. But this is what they call the Stealth. This is the first Stealth figure. It's a Mark III Stealth diecast. And this is the Mark III Secret Project. It's an amazing piece. In an interview that Robert Downey Jr. did one time, he had this sitting on his shelf. So Robert Downey Jr. actually owns one of these. And this was a limited edition. I don't know what the actual run was, but it's limited edition. They all say silly things on them. Some of them came with a silly thing base. It's not come with a silly thing base, but on the box it says silly things. And that was the promotion that this was. So it's really cool. This is plastic. This is diecast. And I have a red and gold diecast as well with the Mark III. The diecast ones have this interesting waist feature. You can disassemble the figure, and you put in this twisted waist, which allows them to do the superhero landing, which of course Deadpool tells us is hard on the knees. And you can put this figure specifically into the superhero landing, which is cool. It's really neat. So those are my Mark IIIs. And I have a diecast Mark II, and I have the Mark II Armor Unleashed, which is a neat figure. Only twice, has Hot Toys made and opened helmet with nothing inside of it. Mark II Armor Unleashed and the Mark 47 Spider-Man Homecoming Edition. I made my own for my Mark 42. And it works in regards to it being exactly what the intention of making it was, which was having a helmet that is open. It doesn't close. It could, but it's glued permanently open. And there's nobody home. And so the reason that we had these with the Mark II Armor Unleashed and with the Mark 47 was because in the Iron Man 2 movie, when Rhodey borrowed the Iron Man Mark II, they had it all opened up on the table for Hammer Tech to come out and have a look at it to turn it into the War Machine. And the Mark 47, of course, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, pops out of it when Spider-Man is totally, Peter Parker's totally giving him a hard time. Saying, if you even cared about me, you'd be here. Out he comes. So the suit opens up in that manner. Mark 42, I did this for the armor, hollow armor that we've got here as he's going down into the wine cellar. I think the helmet is closed at that point. Don't remember, to tell you the truth. But I wanted to make an open helmet. So I did. So that's what I've done with my Mark 42. This is the original release Mark 42. The Mark 43 that was released later has a different butt action that works better. Mark 42 and Mark 43 are the same painted figure, but the Mark 43 is differently manufactured than the Mark 42. The Mark 42 re-release has the proper Mark 43 butt. So this butt is kind of freaky. It doesn't really necessarily work really well. It works, but it's really loose. So, I mean, it's not like really loose, but it's loose. All right, and that's just the nature of the beast. The original die-cast figures, they still hadn't quite figured it out. So that's the bad thing about this original release, Mark 42. And if I'd known with the re-release of the Mark 42 that they had, it was, I think it was called the Hong Kong edition or Shanghai edition, because it was released with the opening of Disney's Shanghai location, I would have bought one. But I did not, because I was like, I already have a Mark 42. What do I need another Mark 42 for? My Mark 42 works fine. If I'd known it was a fixed butt, I would have for fact picked it up. Now keep in mind, selling my figures, I'm not giving these away. The guy wanted to buy my Mark V diecast, and he was like totally lowballing me. I'm not in financial straits so much so that I need to lowball these figures and get rid of them. Oh, what in the world happened over here? The screen's gone black. Computer's been shut down. And I'm wired in, and I've got all that disabled. Jeez. I'll try to catch your messages on here. So I've totally lost this. What time is it? Didn't put a watch on. What time is it, guys? Name bugs me. Mandalorian sounds like some. Have any of you seen that television show yet? Is it any good? Let's move on. Let's get back to this. I've lost this. Come on. My stupid computer literally just shut off. I've got it plugged in. I'm not waking up from anything. I hate this computer. Toshiba. A Toshiba laptop has been nothing but problems from day one. I mean, literally, the doggone thing wasn't 30 days old. And we're on the phone with Toshiba. And and it was Windows 8. And they were loading onto it Windows 8.1 at that point to troubleshoot it. A little seashell for the start button. This thing's been a hassle from day one. I'll never buy another Toshiba nothing. Can't get the power back up. No better image on that first version, but it's expensive. 11:06 a.m. 3:06 a.m. Wow. 3:06 a.m. Thank you for staying up with us. Curious about this feat. Honey bee. Hello, goodbye, I'm glad to know you. My honey bee. Well, there could possibly be a foot down in there. Now I'm down in it. But it does come off, which is good. I have some Phicen stuff here someplace. That's my honeybee. Check out Steam Powered Giraffe, guys. I don't get nothing from them. I'm not promoting them because they're giving me anything. I've never even talked to them. But I'm really enjoying their music. Let's see. Where's my feet and hands? I'm trying to see whether or not these will match up with some Phicen bodies that I have. There's some hands here. It's Pepper Potts. Ray. I put my Ray onto a Phicen body. Hello, goodbye, it's nice to know you. My honeybee. I'm in Stan Lee. I have a Stan Lee, by the way. My teal. Let's try these. Seems to be a pretty close match there. Pepper Potts is definitely the wrong shade. This is definitely too light. So definitely not Pepper Potts. Definitely not a Ray. Either. Yeah, Ray is definitely not it. So not Pepper Potts and not Ray. And not pale. Because this is the pale. That's not it. But this one is in my box with my Lady Sparta. I don't remember if this came with Lady Sparta or if it just came with a regular Phicen figure. Who did I just make? I just made a poison. How did I end up skipping over that? Fury. What's this? Quicksilver, Red Skull. Oh, and I have a poison here. Avenger, Fury, Scarlet Witch. Fairness. Daphne and Velma. It's clothing, not bodies. Hella? No. I think that's the closest one I have. I had more. So what hands do we have? Don't have any feet. I have to get some feet someplace. I swear to God, I've got something that I'm missing. My mind is not coming clear. This computer will not turn back on. So we have hands for her at least. I have to find me some feet. This is a hard plastic breastplate here. It's got to come off. It's got to come off. Take off her little arm bracelets on her biceps. I think what we're going to do, we're going to separate this right here at the waist. Surgical precision, X-Acto knife. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to cut this right here, right along this line around this little buckle here. It can be glued back. So what I'm doing is I'm placing this X-Acto knife under the line there to try to carve like a little flap, if you will. I'm just going to make some little pokes here. I don't want to poke into the body. It's the last thing I want to do is damage this body. And doing this at an angle will create a little area that can be re-glued should I ever want to put this back into Red Sonja. No, this is not a top for Mary Jane. Unless Mary Jane is cosplaying Red Sonja. This is how I removed Deadpool's belt to give Kidpool a belt and to make the Dusty Deadpool's belt a little more screen accurate. I used the Deadpool 1 belt. I should have used the Deadpool 2 belt. Because in the movie Deadpool 2, when he gets all dusty covered from the fire and all that, his belt buckle maintains its shine. The Dusty Deadpool that comes from Hot Toys, the belt buckle is not shiny. Gosh dang it. I'll have to... I don't know why I can't see the... I don't know what happened to this computer here. It won't power up. It's kaput. It is kaput. Time for the garbage, I believe. It's my honeybee. Steam-powered giraffe. So, how I ended up finding that was I was watching a movie or a television show or something, and they had playing in the background Rihanna's Umbrella song. And I love Rihanna. That's my celebrity crush, right? Old Rihanna is. I don't know if I still feel that way about her now. I mean, not old Rihanna. I mean Rihanna when she first came out. I'm not so certain she would still be my celebrity crush today. But anyhow, I was watching the Umbrella video, and then I watched the Diamonds video, and I watched the live performance of Rihanna singing Diamonds. And what a passionate performer she is. She sings that song so beautifully. And then YouTube's amazing algorithm decided to show me a cover version of Rihanna's Diamonds sung by Steam Powered Giraffe. It's a guy singing it. And if you know the song, it's not necessarily a guy song in regards to you would expect a man's voice to be singing the song as a man. I don't mean like a man, like a man pretending to be a woman. I mean a man singing it as a man's song. You know, the deep voice and whatever else. And it was truly amazing hearing the Spine as the character in the group Steam Powered Giraffe. I think his name is David Bennett. Singing that song. It was so beautifully performed and so magical. When I'm watching this thing, I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? Is this a CGI is this a computer generated image? What is this? And it's him dressed up as a steam powered automaton. And he's just singing the song so beautifully. It's amazing. And so I've been watching many of their other videos, and I'm just really impressed by them. And I love their songs Honeybee and Fire Fire, and of course, Diamonds. Really amazing voice that the Spine has. And Rabbit has. There's a song that she sings that I've only listened to once, and I was really impressed by it. I don't remember what the name of it was, but it's a her song only. She sings Honeybee as well. Honeybee is her song. And Honeybee is probably my favorite song, actually. But so here we go. We've got that cut open there, and it can be glued back should it ever need to be. All right. So now to get it off of her body, stainless steel skeleton. Honeybee. Oh, it looks like what we have here is this metal breastplate. It's not metal, it's plastic. And this silver bra. 2 pieces. I'm hoping that I don't have to cut this top up around her neck, but it appears that I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to cut this other top right there. So trying to avoid that. No worries. Oh no, I don't have to cut it. That unsnaps. This other piece did not unsnap. This top piece unsnaps. Right there. Is that simple enough? Keep me from having to cut that. There we go. Come on, sweetie. I really don't want to cut this off of her throat. Might unsnap. It did. All right, so here we go. Unsnap this. Unsnap this. Cut that. Fires in California. There's always fires in California, man. Let me tell you something. I was on my way to a doctor's appointment the other day, and many occasions I've watched complete jerks throw smoldering lit cigarette butts right out of their window. I mean, the smoke coming out from them. They're still obviously hot. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And then we have a devastating fire that destroys millions of dollars of property and kills people and animals and pets. And these jerks just throw their cigarettes right out their window. So I was on my way to the doctor's appointment last week, and this individual decided to throw his cigarette butt, smoldering cigarette butt, out of the window right in front of me. So the stoplight in California, most stoplights are 3 minutes long. So I had plenty of time. Put the car in park, got out, walked up to his vehicle. Of course, he had his window down because he just threw his cigarette butt out. And I said, as I walked up to his vehicle, firefighters fight fires, protect our lives and our property. Fires destroy, and you just threw a cigarette butt smoldering out of your vehicle. Now, I said this as I was bending down, picking up his smoldering cigarette butt, and I flicked it into his vehicle. And he's like, looking around for the on fire cigarette butt that is now inside his vehicle. I walked back to my car and put the car in drive and went on to my doctor's appointment. Was that stupid? Yeah, that was probably the most insane thing I could have done. He could have shot me. He could have done anything. But I've about had it with idiots. For real. What was he thinking? You know what I mean? Yeah, I just dropped my cigarette right here. And then we end up with another fire. Every year in California. Fires that kill people. I've known 3 people. One woman that I know lost her dogs and her husband in a fire. Another friend of mine I know lost his dogs and his house and his cars in a fire. And another lady that I know lost her dogs in one of these fires. So, F you guys, man. Stop throwing your damn cigarette butts out the window. Put it in your ashtray, and then when you get home, empty your ashtray. When the doggone thing flies out the window and it's still smoldering, and what the hell are you doing littering anyhow? Jeez. What the hell's wrong with you people, man? So no, I did that. It was stupid to do, but I made my point. That for fact I did. Hopefully he'll think twice before throwing a smoldering cigarette butt out of his window. Was that insane for me to do? Yeah, it was pretty stupid for me to do that. But hopefully I stopped the forest fire from happening again. Paradise, California, totally gone. Burned the entire city to the ground. Because people being stupid. So we're taking her bra off, this metal bra here. It seems to stretch a little bit, or enough for me to get it past her shoulders. Tell me when it hits 8:35 my time, please. We'll move this over to the other room. You'll see more of my collection. The other room I have a shelf. Bottom shelf is from Iron Man 2, my Mark 6 and War Machine Mark 1 fighting Whiplash 2. The shelf above that has a Mark 4 in that gantry and the Mark 2 Armor Unleashed in that gantry. And the shelf above that has the Mark 6 in the Avengers gantry, and a Mark 3 fighting Ironmonger, and the top shelf is the Avengers fighting Ultron. That's what I have in the other room. My big computer, the computer I play my video games on. I'm playing World of Tanks. I love World of Tanks. It's so funny. Over the years, many friends of mine have said, "Yeah, I play World of Tanks. You should play it." And I'm like, it doesn't sound like a very fun game. Oh, tanks. Ooh, how much fun can that be? I'll be doggone, man. I really had a fun time playing that game. I started playing it a year ago. I'm playing it now a year. I'm still a rookie. Still a tomato is what they call us. Players that aren't very good, they call us tomatoes. I'm rated in the red as a bad player. I'm not a very bad player anymore. I'm just a bad player. I have a blast playing it. You have tanks that sometimes are period specific. Other times they're prototypes. The physics in the game is amazing. Here we go. And it's just a fun game. I love playing World of Tanks. What did I do with here we go. Till I find her some feet. I don't know if I should put her in shorts with these boots. I think I've got feet. I know I've got feet someplace, man. I've got a Velma and a Daphne. Oh, Daphne uses dareness. I have a Velma. I have a Daphne, and I just did my a Near Automata, and I did this Poison. I know I've got feet. Here's our Mary Jane shirt. Honey bee. So the David and his sister Isabel attended college to learn pantomime, which is a form of art form that pantomime clowns perform, and that's how they act as automatons, steampunk automatons. They do pantomime, more or less, not necessarily. So they don't really go about doing like the invisible box and pulling along a rope, but they could. But for the most part, it's in their mannerisms how they move very specifically to a specific area, and then when they move their hand or whatever, their elbow doesn't move, so they look like an automaton or an animatronic from Disney or something to that effect. It's really cool. So the music is nice. They sing really well, and they perform these interesting acts as 1890s steam-powered robots. Steam-powered giraffe. I get a kick out of them. So this for fact is a Mary Jane shirt. The only thing that's lacking would be like a Spider-Man emblem or something to that effect. But I've seen Mary Jane wear tops like this a lot. Wish he had a nicer smile. These hands will work. Now what I really need, truthfully, would be a either an Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, truthfully. Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot. First words. In the comics, Peter Parker was avoiding her. His Aunt May and her friend, which I don't remember her name, her last name obviously was Watson, kept trying to hook up May Parker's friends with her niece, with Peter Parker. And Peter kept trying to avoid her constantly. He's like, nah, I don't want to blind date, don't want to blind date, don't want to blind date. And he's trying to run out of the house. He kept avoiding her, kept avoiding her, kept avoiding her. It went on for several comics. And then one day he was about to leave through the front door, opened up the front door, and bam, there was Mary Jane Watson. And her words to him were, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. And there we go. Here's my Mary Jane. See if we can put a little light on, see if it helps any. Just a little bit of light. How's that look, guys? What do you think? Red Sonja a good Mary Jane? I'd like to think so. Again, I wish she had a nicer smile. She will work as far as I'm concerned. That's my Mary Jane. Looks like we've been on for, it looks like probably about 8:35. So let's go into the other room, log on. I'm going to take Mary Jane with me. Oh, it's Pepper Potts' foot. I've got feet, man. I know I've got feet. Let me look real quick one more time. I'm kind of scanning through these, and I'm not really paying that much attention. Colossus, Crossbones. Dareness. I know it's not Dareness. Alright. Daphne and Velma are just clothes. Daredevil, Deadpool, Sideshow, Deadpool 2, Dusty Deadpool, Deadpool Chibi Pool, Deadpool Kid, Lady Deadpool, she has boots. Doctor Strange, Electro, Falcon, Gamora, she does not have feet, she's green. Groot, Teen Groot, Hawkeye, Age of Ultron, Hela, Iron Legion 3, Lady Death is white, she doesn't have feet either. Leonidas, Loki, the Mandarin, Maria Hill does not have feet. Near Automata, do not believe are feet. She has boots. What's in here? More of her outfits. Yeah. And a head sculpt. Nick Fury, Civil War. Empty box. Quicksilver, Red Skull, Rocket, Scarlet Witch does not have feet. Scarlet Witch, the New Avenger. Shuri does not have feet. These are Iron Men here. I don't believe there's anything past. Here we go. Here's okay. All right, Mark 50. Face plates. Oh, Iron Man face plates. Tony Stark. Agent Coulson. Ant-Man, Civil War, BB-8, Black Panther, Civil War, Black Panther, Black Widow, AOU, no feet. Black Widow, Civil War, no feet, right? Black Widow, Infinity War, no feet, right? Bruce Banner, C-3PO, Cable, Captain America, AOU, Captain America, Civil War, Captain America, Infinity War, Captain America, Concept, Chitauri Commander, Chitauri Foot Soldier. Spider-Man wrestling suit, Spider-Man homemade suit, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home movie promo edition, Spider-Man Re-Edit, Iron Spider, Spider-Man Iron Spider, Spider-Man PS4 Advanced Suit, Spider-Man PS4 Spider-Punk, Spider-Man Scarlet Spider, Stanley, Star-Lord, Star-Lord Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Medicom, Stormtrooper, T'Chaka, Thanos Guardians of the Galaxy, Thanos Infinity War, Thor, AOU, Thor Ragnarok, Thor Infinity War, Vampirella, no feet, Venom, Vision AOU, War Machine Mark 1 Diecast, War Machine Mark 2, War Machine Iron Patriot, War Machine Mark 2 AOU, War Machine Mark 3, War Machine Mark 4, Wasp, Whiplash, Winter Soldier, Yellow Jacket, Yondu. Why can I not find my feet? I've got feet someplace. I know I do. I know it. Should we bring her with us? Face a tiger. You just hit the jackpot. That computer's dead. DED. It's not how you spell dead. Quick scan of the room. Bumblebee's over there. Black Panther's up there. Iron Man 3. All the drawers. There's the Avengers fighting Ultron. The only one that's missing here is Vision. I only have one Vision, and he's out there on the Avengers shelf. He needs to be in here. Little toys. I think that was made by Toys Box, made that base. You could buy 3 of them and have it go into a full-on circle. There's Age of Ultron Hulk. Scarlet Witch, her little hand fell off. There's a Mark 6 gantry. King Arts 1/9 scale, but I truthfully believe it's 1/6 scale. There's the Mark 3 diecast. Fighting Ironmonger. There's the Mark 4 gantry. That gantry was used everything from Mark 2 through Mark 6. Except for Mark 5 didn't require a gantry. And there is the Mark 6 and War Machine Mark 1 fighting Whiplash 2. So, if you guys have been to San Diego Comic-Con before, you don't have to go through this process. I've never been. So I have to go through of seeing if I can be randomly selected to attend. It's kind of, I don't know what it is. Weird. But I guess San Diego Comic-Con is so much of a big deal that they can get away with doing that. I've never been. I would love to go. It's held each year at the same time. So we're going into the Expo Logic waiting room. Now I have to enter in my registration code. Do not refresh this page. Refreshing this page will remove you from the waiting room. To review your member ID and last name, please visit X and select the registration info. Identity account is temporarily locked for changes. You may still create a new account. Only Comic-Con member ID accounts that were created and confirmed prior to November 4, 2019 are eligible to participate in open registration. Pretty sure I know what my login and password is. I believe. I may be wrong. I have been before. By the way, there's a new Ray that has been announced. Um, I like to call her Pissed Off Ray. Let's log into YouTube here. See if I can catch up on the chats that I've been missing. I'll be able to answer some of your questions. Hopefully. Ah, good. Here we go. Here's the chats. So let's go over these. All right. Whoa, we got a lot. All right. Yes, I do have a Mark III for sale. Proximity coverage. I only need a Mark II. I have a Mark II. Mark II diecast and a Mark II Armor Unleashed. I have the Mark 46 and the Mark 46 concept art version. You get a lot of battle damage parts with 42. I love mine. Yeah, the 42 came with a lot of really neat stuff. I'm doing a lot of kit bashes, Arnie's right now. Arnie's aren't even Schwarzenegger, Arnold, like Terminators. Is Mark II and Mark III just to repaint the diecast ones? Negative. The Mark III, the Mark II has rivet points in it, so there's marks all over the body where the rivets are in him. The Mark III does not have that, so no, they're not a repaint. 5.6 looks now for Terminator. I'd love to get his beard look, but put next to a 1.6 Scorpion. Mark III diecast from the film. What a figure! It is nice. Move over. Steampunk Sonja, Iron Man coming through. Siri, you see the Mandalorian? I've not. I'm not sure how exactly to do it. I guess it's a Disney Channel. You got to go to like the Disney Channel or something online to be able to see it. Is it good? I want to see that. You know, I've always enjoyed Boba Fett, Jango Fett. You know, I love Star Wars. I kind of hate the direction they're going with it now, but who knows? You guys are lucky to get to watch that already. We have to wait until it rolls out on the 24th. Me too, haven't seen it. Looks promising, though. Seen bits and pieces. Still wish it was Boba Fett, right? It's just a Mandalorian. At least his mystery is back, right? Name bugs me, the Mandalorian. Sounds like some French guy with a mustache and a wine glass wooing of women. No battle damage on that first version, but it's expensive. Am I sleepy? You asking me? Am I sleepy? I'm always sleepy. Since my wife's been home because she requires such care, I've not been getting much sleep. It's really hard. But I'll be playing my World of Tanks all night too, so I sleep. Good thing about working at home is when I'm tired, I go to sleep. Phone rings, I answer it. So I guess I'm getting sleep, but never like enough sleep. 4:10 p.m. here in the UK. 6 p.m. pizza and kebab time. What's your favorite pizza? CBS Sci-Fi. How do you have pizza? Proximity coverage only. Yeah, why not? I remember Justice League cartoon. Batman was trying to stay awake. Really? Oh, kebab. Yeah, coffee. I don't drink. I try not to drink coffee after 2 o'clock for me because I won't get any sleep. Riding the Batmobile, radio blasting, goes in a deli. Coffee black. You know what? I like that. Forget which movie it was. The Batman movie. I think it was the one that had. I don't remember if it was the one that had George Clooney or Val Kilmer playing Batman, but it had Robin in it. I guess it was Batman Forever. So anyhow, Alfred calls Batman, and he says, "What's his name? What's Robin's name? West? No, what's his name? Anyhow, he says he named him. Robin has taken your vehicle." Batman's like, "What do you mean?" And he starts naming off vehicles. What do you mean, the Corvette? No, the other vehicle. What, the Lamborghini? No, the other vehicle. The Ferrari? No, the other vehicle. And then we see Robin has commandeered the Batmobile. That's when he discovered that Batman was Batman. Thought that was funny. No, the other vehicle. 89 Batmobile is amazing. Have you seen Juiced's versions of the new Batmobile that he's making? I've Juiced told me that my land speeder is coming. Hopefully it will be here next week. I intend to be able to open that. I did not have a Luke Skywalker and an Obi-Wan Kenobi. I need to get those figures. I need to have those. Robert, I agree. Those boobs are beautifully big. Love them. Hey, Siri, are you getting the 1/4 scale Mark 45? I do not buy 1/4 scale figures. Not that I wouldn't, but I don't have the room for 1/6 scale figures. You know what I mean? Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. No, I definitely didn't give her a cesarean. Her body came out perfectly unscathed from that procedure. I've seen it in game a number of times now. At the end, when Cap pulls all the Infinity Stones back, puts all the Infinity Stones back in the original timelines before any of it took place, then Black Widow and Iron Man should still be alive. I'm going to say no on Iron Man. But Black Widow, yes. I would think Black Widow should still be alive. One thing I'm confused about, though, is old Steve Rogers. And what I've come to the conclusion on is that he time traveled back to before becoming Captain America. And what we're looking at as old Steve Rogers is not the super soldier, but Steve Rogers as the 90-pound weakling, more or less. I think. I'm not sure exactly. But no, I'm pretty sure Tony would still be dead because the stones were taken before his death. So if the stones went back to the original timeline, he would still be alive. So essentially, with each change in time, that timeline still exists. There just happens to be a branch off that's created. So Tony's death would still be that in that instance. My opinion. I thought Mariah Carey sung Honeybee. Does she? Does she sing a song called Honeybee? Steam Power Draft Honeybee is what I'm singing. Is it a different song or the same song? Siri, what's going on with those fires? The cinema went dead when Tony died 3 times. I went to the cinema to see it, and you could hear a pin drop at Tony's death scene. I'm not kidding you, man. Just thinking about it now, so it brings little tears to my eyes. Tony's death is very sad. And his Edith glasses, even dead, I'm the hero. Part gets me is when Rhodey gets to him, right? In the aftermath. Yeah, next time, toss that cigarette near a gas station, right? Sheesh. Yeah, it is, but if they put the Infinity Stones back in the original timeline, then that means Tony is still alive. I don't know. Because, see, that Earth exists. You know, that timeline is there. So they've broken the timelines, but that timeline still exists. I do like it how when Thanos is talking to Scarlet Witch, and she comes up with all her fury and rage, and she looks him dead in the eye, and she says, "You have killed everyone that I've ever loved." And he just, so very matter-of-factly looks at her and says, "I don't even know who you are." And that's when she proceeds to literally break him down molecularly and just dissolve him. She was about to totally destroy him. She was going to just waste him. She, in my opinion, she's probably the most powerful Avenger. One of the most powerful figures in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Scarlet Witch is, by far. In my opinion, Doctor Strange is very powerful. Scarlet Witch is more powerful than Doctor Strange. And she's not even tapped into all of her ability. She's, oh my God. Kabbalah is it's stupid. Talked about it earlier. It's ridiculous. So I told YouTube that none of my videos are geared towards children, period. I started playing World of Tanks. Oh, not long ago. It's a great game. Yeah, of course I'm under Siri Emerald. That's where I am. Check me out. I play the North American Central server. If you happen to be there, check me out. I'm looking for a clan. If anybody has an active clan, I was in a clan that was not active, and that's stupid. Sexy little redhead, Mary Jane. She's my girl. Give her Chitari feet. I love it. Oh, with the Jazz Batwing. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? I think the website is jazzinc.com, and he makes 1/6 scale dioramas, and he is making the Batwing from 1989 Batmobile. He is making the Millennium Falcon cockpit. Both of these are in 1/6 scale. He has made a land speeder, which is sold out. He is making a 1/6 scale Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming of Michael Keaton. That is a definite buy for me. I've not made any money purchase on it yet. It's not going to be available till next year. So he's not sold out on it, but I'm going to be getting it. I purchased the land speeder. I think the land speeder was $399 for a 1/6 scale land speeder from Star Wars, the first Star Wars, which later was turned into Star Wars Chapter 4, A New Hope. But when it first came out, it was just called Star Wars. So that's what I know it as. But it's the land speeder from that movie. And oh my God, it looks so good. and I intend to try to pose it with the stormtroopers and Obi-Wan and the droids in the back and Luke, and the stormtroopers are like asking about the droids, and Obi-Wan's like, these are not the droids you're looking for. You don't need to see his identification. He can go now. Love that. Using the Jedi mind trick on him. I am going to do a video of the land speeder, you better believe it, next Saturday. If it comes, the Ancient One explained it. When the stones are put back, the timeline is fixed. The only splinter in the timeline is when the stone is removed, basically when Loki teleports away with a stone new timeline. So, yes, and that's why Tony Stark would still be dead. Because it happened with or without the stone. That timeline is still there. So it didn't create a branch. So that main timeline, Tony died after the removal of the stone, putting the stone back. He's still dead. So that's what I think. I guess I'm going to have to think about it some more. But they do kind of explain, how everybody does a little different version of time traveling. In Star Trek, they have like that whole division that has to go back and fix all the timeline errors that were created. But essentially, whenever there's a splinter in time, whenever they make a new timeline, that's what would happen is the one would still continue, and you just made a new one. So this one still happens, and you just made a new one. And so even though you've changed time, here you didn't change the original time frame that you came from. So if you went back in time and you altered time at that point, your time is still the case, because if that stopped to exist, then you couldn't have gone back in time. So if they went back in time, then he couldn't have gone back in time. If he went back in time to place a stone there, he couldn't have gone back in time to place the stone there. If he fixed the timeline with everything that he did to fix it, then everything that happened after that didn't happen, which means he didn't travel back in time in the first place. So if he didn't travel back in time in the first place, then he never had to fix it anyhow, and nothing ever happened at all, and Thanos still kills everybody. So Tony's dead. Because by going back to fix the timeline, you still have to be there in order to go back. If you're not there, then you can't go back. You couldn't have gone back if you didn't happen. If you went backwards, then you weren't there. If you're not there because you fixed it, then you couldn't have gone back. So no matter what, the fact that he went back in time splintered it. So in this timeline, Tony's dead. Kind of like Romulus and Remus. So once you've created a new timeline. So they still splintered it. But simply by the fact of them going back and putting all those back, it kept those from being splintered. But still, from that moment that happened, that portion, that timeline is still there. So Tony's dead. If otherwise, Steve couldn't go back to put him back. And if he went back to put him back, then they never stopped Thanos. Thanos being stopped is here. So that's my thought, just going over it just right now on the top of my head. Tony would still be dead. But no, Black Widow shouldn't be, because she died before removing the time stone. So then she'd be dead too. Because if they put it back, she's still dead before getting the stone. No, she'd still be dead too. Right? This is deep. This is deep. Galactus is a new supervillain in the next Avengers. Really? Tony lives. Also, I'm going to tune in for the Lance review, though. We'll have to catch up the rest of the video tomorrow. Going to have to crash out. Cheers, Siri later. Thank you very much for joining us. I think you're the one that's in Australia, so it's freaking like 4 a.m. or something in the morning. He's live. I don't want to cry myself to sleep anymore. Oh! I know, right? God, man. That's deep. Even dead, I'm the hero. Gotta love it. I like how they did all that with in Spider-Man Far From Home, with everyone just like popping back right in the middle of the basketball game, all sorts of stuff. How do they did it to people that are on airplanes? Tony died. The only split in the timeline is right I suppose right bow is Loki because of the stone. And the timeline is right bow is Loki because of the stone. Yeah, Loki would be another one that would be dead. It's hard to say, man. I guess you'd have to really just start thinking about every single second in regards to when it happened with what. So, I don't know. It's, in all actuality, truthfully, time travel could not happen anyhow, no matter. And essentially, why is because even just 5 minutes ago, okay, our planet is not in the same place in the universe that it was. Even 5 minutes ago. When you think about this, the way our Milky Way is traveling away from the center of the universe where the Big Bang supposedly happened according to astrophysicists, our Milky Way is moving at super fast. So it's not in the position it was in the first place. And the Milky Way is spinning. So the Milky Way is spinning. Okay? Our sun is spinning from where it was. Now, whenever we think about our solar system, we think of it in a horizontal position. It's not traveling in this way. It's not a sun in the middle and all the planets around it in a horizontal position. It's actually traveling in this type of a position with the sun in the center and all the planets are traveling around it in this manner, and it's hurtling through space in this manner. So as the sun travels with our planets around it, it's going this direction. All the little planets, here's the sun, all the planets, and we're traveling like this. So it's like a big corkscrew, if you will. So as in a year's time, when the Earth is made its full cycle around the sun, it is no longer where it was 365 days ago. It has moved. And I don't know what the distance is that it's moved, but it's moved a lot. So if you were to time travel from this exact point in time, you're going to land in the middle of nowhere. You're going to be in an empty vacuum of space because there's nothing for you to land on. You would have to be able to perform the time travel to not only to be able to travel through time, but also through space to be able to calculate exactly where the Earth was in that position in the vastness and void of space. Now keep in mind, in order for there to be time travel to the past, then we would have already had seen it. The time travelers would always already had been there. So if we traveled into the past, we would already know about them. And since we don't supposedly know of any true time travelers, time travel has never happened. Time travel could be in the forward because we've not experienced that. And in a sense, going to sleep is a form of time travel because you're conscious, the theory of relativity, that 6 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, however long it was you slept, didn't happen really, for the most part. Bingity bing, you're done, you open back up, you're awake. That's time travel. There's a really interesting way of explaining the theory of relativity of putting somebody in a chair and having them take a flashlight and just move the flashlight straight up and down. Okay? So they are just moving a flashlight in this manner, or a candle, or any type of a light, just up and down. Now, while they are in this chair, if you scoot them to the left and to the right, as they're going up and down, that light would end up making an entire V of traveling a great distance. Whereas you've only moved it a foot, but because the chair is moving, that foot turned into several feet of travel. So that person time traveled, the light only went up and down, but in all actuality, it made a V. We appreciate your patience as we prepare to begin the random selection process. If you are selected, you will automatically move to a registration session. Do not refresh your browser, or you may experience technical difficulties. I just got that message at 9:01 a.m. So I hope I'm randomly selected. And I don't know what day I would go to Comic-Con on. Saturday would probably be the best for me. Traveling all the way to San Diego. And I'll just drive down there. I don't know how many hours it is. Assuming probably 8 hours. would be the trip. So I would leave probably Friday night, say about, I suppose I should probably leave about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Get about 300 miles to the gallon. So I would have to stop off probably in Bakersfield, put more gasoline in the vehicle, travel the rest of the way to San Diego, check into a hotel that night, go to Comic-Con, spend the day there at San Diego Comic-Con. Probably then check into a hotel, the same hotel again that night, so I can sleep, and then drive home Sunday for 8-hour drive. Probably get up, 10, 11 or whatever, and then drive and be home Sunday night. Probably what I will do. Just make it a Saturday thing. Probably the most logical thing to do for that matter. Let's set this over here. I know what right now is Loki because of the stone, and stone causes splits. I don't know how I'm going to eat my pizza and kebab now, knowing Tony is gone. What's your favorite pizza, by the way? I like the combination pizzas, the one with all the stuff on it. I like veggies. I love veggies. So I like to have olives and peppers and onions and mushrooms and hamburger and ham, just whatever's there, throw it on it, put pineapple on it. I'll eat a pizza anyway. Love pizza. But I've recently come to the conclusion that me and carbs don't get along. So I found that when I avoid breads, pastas, starches, of course sugar, that I end up losing weight. When I eat any type of bread, anything, or any type of starch, I do not lose weight and I actually feel more full. So I'm trying to I limit my fat intake, so I don't eat much meat, because that also causes me to gain weight. So most of my meals are a lot of veggies, so I really don't eat much pizza at all. I did have a pizza slice a few weeks ago. It was actually 2 big slices, so about this much pizza. Not like that. But I used to, man, I could eat a full-on large pizza all by myself. Hell, when I was in my 20s, I could eat like 2 or 3 full pizzas and not even think about it. But I didn't get fat until like 30-something. So I was always really thin or built well. And then when I hit 30, the weight just started coming from God everywhere. And then I got injured, and then the weight really came on because exercising ended at that point. But that's the kind of pizza I love. I love an everything pizza. The only 1/4 scale figure that I would get, because I'm really a 1/6 scale collector, would be either an Ant-Man, a Wasp, Yellow Jacket, or a Hulk. And the reason is because Ant-Man, of course, can become Giant Man. So essentially, he would still be a 1/6 scale version of him. Same thing with Yellow Jacket or the Wasp. Although Yellow Jacket never did become larger, and neither did the. They could, in all actuality, become larger if they wanted to. And the Hulk, in my opinion, especially in the Ang Lee version of Hulk, the angrier he gets, the larger he can become. So I don't collect the 1/4 scale figures because I don't have the room. I'm taking up 2 rooms as it is for figures. So I don't have the room for a 1/4 scale figure. Some of the 1/4 scale figures are amazing. I mean, the detail on them is superb, and the accessories that you get are remarkable. And if I was more or less collecting a specific item, like say for instance, I was only Iron Man, or I was only Spider-Man, or something along that line, and I collected everything in that capacity, then yeah, I would buy a 1/4 scale figure, especially some of the Hot Toys 1/4 scale figures. But because it doesn't necessarily assist me in telling my story, I don't. But I've seen some amazing 1/4 scale figures. Holy smokes. 10-inch Asian special or spicy beef. What would be an Asian special pizza? I've never heard of that. Interesting. Saturday night starts here, just making a JD and Coke now. You know, I love the holidays, specifically Christmas time, the Yule time, because of eggnog. Oh, love eggnog. Preview night Wednesday is not a standalone option. You must buy all 4 single days, Thursday through Sunday, to purchase the preview night option. I knew that already. So I won't be getting the preview night. So that's why I'm thinking Saturday will be what it is, but I won't be getting the whole week. I mean, it's going to be expensive enough going down there as it is. It's going to cost probably $200 in gasoline, because California gasoline is not cheap. It's probably going to be $100 a night in a hotel. It's another $200. That's $400. Eating there is going to probably cost me another $100. That's $500. So going to Comic-Con is going to cost me probably $500 when you think about it, just for one day. And on top of that, I'll be taking my computer with me for work. I have another laptop right here. That's my work laptop. And so I'll be taking that with me because I'm a systems administrator and have to be able to take care of the store, more or less, 24 hours a day or whenever they're open. And they are open on Saturdays. It's a retail store. It's funny, I always thought, as soon as I get some schooling, I'll never work on Saturday ever again. I want a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. Yeah, that doesn't happen in the computer world. So much for holidays and days off. I really don't get either of that. I'm always available for work, even on a holiday. If the store is open, I'm working. So I get Christmas and I get Thanksgiving evening. But other than that, I don't think we're closed for any other day. So that sucks. So that's what I'll be doing. Should I be able to be so lucky as to be chosen for San Diego Comic-Con. We certainly appreciate your patience. The waiting room is slowly moving people to registration sessions to ensure that the system is running efficiently. If you are randomly selected, you will have 15 minutes to complete your badge purchase. I would get a battle damage Mark 85 quarter scale. You know, when you think about it, the Mark 85 is the culmination of it all, isn't it? It's like the final suit. And I would imagine it would probably be a really good looking suit. I mean, for real. And then with it being the battle damaged, to put him into his final pose. Oh man, I'm starting to well up again just thinking about it. You know, when he says, I am Iron Man or whatever, when Thanos says, I am inevitable, and Tony's like, I am Iron Man. Which, of course, has been his statement. That's his statement. I am Iron Man. Even when they had him reading his excuse as to, what happened to him. And they start questioning him. And he goes, you know what? I am Iron Man. So that was fitting for that to be his final words. Pepper to tell him that the world was safe. That was what he was trying to do all along, was to put a giant protection around the world with his creation of Ultron, right? Trying to protect the entire world, put a shield around the entire world. What an interesting storyline, the whole shooting match. 23 movies, right? Because they said that Far From Home is the ending of it. So it's 22 movies at Endgame, and then Far From Home really was the ending of the entire saga. So it's 23 movies. Wow. And it's so neat to see them going back, like when the scientist that was the physicist, I think is who he was, who was in the cave in Iron Man 1, that told him, yeah, we met, whatever it was, 10 years ago in Switzerland. And so then, of course, we see them flashing back to that point. And when he met the guy who was starting Advanced Idea Mechanics, what was his name? And there he was. We got to see the physicist there that was in the cave with him. So it's so neat that all these tied in. And then, of course, the young man at the funeral service was the kid from Iron Man 3 with the potato gun and all that. And it was so nice that all of this tied in, It was so really cool. Like the very touching scene when in Spider-Man: Homecoming when Iron Man's like, if you die, it's on me, telling Peter. If you die, it's on me. So of course, then in Infinity War, he died. And it was on him. He was blaming himself for that. So and he was telling people, this is the end game up there. That's the end game. It's all neat. All these tied in. It's all just one giant continuous story. They did a really good job with all of that. Tony was trying to save the Earth. Thanos was trying to save the universe. Thanos was right. you know, to some degree, I can see Thanos' opinion. I really can. The Mad Titan, in some way, kind of had a pretty good idea. I hate to say it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. You know what I mean? So, I guess that's the extent of that. I don't know if Thanos was right. He had an idea that's hard to argue against. But, you know, such a drastic way of going about it. It's kind of like in The Matrix when Agent Smith is talking to Neo and he's like, you're like a cockroach. You're an infestation on Earth. We take and take and take and take and take. We destroy, 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 destroy. We over. We need to just chill out, right? What would be crazy is if in the next few films we see that some planets are struggling because of overpopulation since Marvel is moving more cosmic. That is interesting, isn't it? That is very interesting. It's amazing when you think about it, though, how much the Earth has grown in the last 100 years. I mean, what's our population? I'm sure it's easily doubled in the last 100 years. Does anybody know that for a fact? How much we've gone just in 100 years and population-wise? I know they've got that counter that takes into consideration people dying and people being born and as growing. So, there's just more and more of us on here. There's plenty of spaces still to live. There's plenty of parts of the United States that are uninhabited. Um, People like to live where they can be comfortable or find a job or have family and friends. But there are plenty of areas still that we can live in, truthfully. Can you imagine a quarter scale Thanos? Oh, I would love a quarter scale Hulk. That'd be the same thing. I'm looking forward to that Deadpool um, Venom pool. It's going to be the size of Hulk. Oh my God. So at a 1/6 scale figure, we're talking about him because Venom already is big. I love my Venom from who made it? Bullethead. Love that Venom. It's really nice. It's classic Venom, and I'm really happy with that. Once you successfully logged in the registration session, you'll be prompted to select the number of people you are purchasing badges for during that sale, 1, 2, or 3. Pay close attention to the number of people you select, as you will not be able to return to this page. Asian special pepperoni, red onion, mushroom, ham, and mixed peppers. So, an Asian special pepperoni. So, are you saying that it's a special pepperoni, or it's just the Asian special includes regular pepperoni, so just like pepperoni? Or is it like a special pepperoni? Is it like a spicy pepperoni? Or is it an Asian pepperoni? So, pepperoni, red onion, mushroom, ham, and mixed peppers. I guess because of the red onion and the mixed peppers, puts a little color to it. It's kind of look like a what would they call that? Pepper steak, Chinese pepper steak. Nice. I can taste that. Just thinking about that, I can taste that. I like for breakfast, for instance. I like making an omelet, and I like putting on my omelet whatever vegetables are in the refrigerator. So like right now, what I put in my omelet because it's what I have in the refrigerator are as I'm cooking my eggs, letting them solidify to make the omelet. I've got in another skillet. I'm cooking onion, just regular yellow onion. I'll put any onion in there. I just happen to have yellow onions. Green bell pepper, and again, I'll put any pepper in there. I just happen to have green bell peppers. Mushrooms, white mushrooms, um, carrot, celery, bean sprouts, and that's what I happen to have. And then I put in there cheese and a luncheon meat, like a whole turkey breast luncheon meat. And the way to do a batch purchase process may behave erratically if you're using a tablet or mobile device. If possible, enter registration code on a laptop or desktop to prevent technical difficulties. So I'm putting then after I cook all the veggies in a separate skillet without oil. So I'm sauteing them more or less. And then when the egg is ready to be flipped, I flip the egg over, and then I put on the cheese. And currently I have a mozzarella cheese at the house, so I slice up some mozzarella cheese, and then I slice up a slice of luncheon meat. So I put like a white turkey breast luncheon meat on there, and I slice up a tomato. So all that's cold going onto it, and I put the cheese on there first. And as soon as I put the cheese on the egg, so I flip the egg, put the cheese on the egg, then I take the sautéed veggies, the onion, the pepper, the mushrooms, celery, carrot, and bean sprouts is what I have down now. Also like putting olives in there as well, but I don't have any olives. So then I'll put them on the cheese, which helps the cheese melt as well. And then I'll put the meat and the tomato and then flip it over and let it sit. And that's my omelet that I have. But I like putting a bunch of stuff in the omelet. I love veggies. I love veggies. I think of the comedian John Panay, I think that was his name, who always struggled with his weight. And he was talking about one of the diets he was on one time where they had him eating salad only. And he says, salad is not a meal. He says, salad is the promise that a meal is coming. Salad is not real food. Salad is the promise that real food is coming. I kind of disagree with that. I love salad. When I make a salad, I use whatever lettuce I've got, be it green leaf, red leaf, romaine, butter lettuce, iceberg, or all of the above. Put that in there. Same veggies, fresh onion. I'll use green onion. I'll use shallots. Doesn't matter. Green pepper, mushrooms. You got to make sure you wash your mushrooms. Wash all your veggies. Wash your lettuce. Everything. Carrots. If I'm having a hot meal, then when I'm sautéing the veggies, like I'm doing for my omelet, I'll saute in there, but I'm not doing it for an omelet. But if I'm like doing like a hot veggie at nighttime, I'll make like the same thing. Then I'll make it for an omelet, only it'll be like for a hot salad. So I'll put all those veggies in there as well, sauteing them, and I'll add to that a zucchini or a yellow squash or a chayote squash or some type of a squash. I'll add like an eggplant. I'll add broccoli. I mean, I love veggies. I'll eat anything. I don't like this that much. I substitute with spinach. Spinach is great on my sandwiches and salads. You know, I didn't realize this, but spinach actually will give you gout if you eat too much of it. But yeah, I love fresh spinach. I'd rather have fresh spinach over cooked spinach, truthfully, as well. Greens, mustard greens, turnip greens, beet greens. Get the beets with the greens on them, and that's like two meals. You can have your beets in one meal and your greens in the other meal. Love greens. But yeah, I will eat veggies all day long. But I still like to eat meat as well. I like to eat beef, chicken. I'll eat any beef, or I mean any meat essentially. I try not to eat that much of it because of the fat content. And again, fat and carbohydrates are not my friend. So, whenever you eat fat, your body automatically knows what to do with fat and it stores it into fat. And whenever you eat starches or sugars or carbohydrates, your body burns what it can and stores the rest by converting it into fat. And as soon as you put a starch on your tongue, as soon as you put a piece of bread on your tongue, your body converts it over into a sugar instantly. Preview night insurance are low. You may not be able to purchase a preview night badge if you are selected for a registration session. So, well, that's good. I wasn't planning on it. I was wanting to get a Saturday. These are notes that keep popping up on this screen. So 22 minutes after the time they opened up registration. Looks like I probably won't be randomly chosen. Oh well. It's not like it's live or die situation. I do really want to attend to San Diego Comic Con. But if I'm unable to, que será, right? So But yeah, I love eating veggies. And so I try to avoid too much meat because of the fat content. Salt also is not good. So I don't salt anything. The only salt I get is salt that's in like luncheon meat. So I try not to eat much luncheon meat, and salt that's in cheese. So the cheese and the luncheon meat have salt in them. Other than that, I'm not putting any salt in anything. I don't drink sodas that much, Cokes. I was raised calling them Cokes, depending on what part of the country you are in. Depends on what you call them. I was raised for the most part in the southeast, and there we call all soft drink beverages a Coke. So you say to somebody, "Hey, you want a Coke?" They'll say, "Yeah." And then the next question you say is, "What kind of Coke do you want?" And the answer could be orange, 7 Up, Dr. Pepper. I mean, those are all Coke. Those are all Cokes in the southeast. That's a Coke. It's what we call soft drinks, carbonated beverages in the south. My wife is from New York area, and she calls them pops or sody pops. It's so funny. Different parts of the country call them different things. You know what I mean? Spend your money on Luke Skywalker. No doubt. I need to get me a New Hope Luke Skywalker and a New Hope Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I will. I will get them. I will. For fact, I will get those. And I will get my Mark 47 back. If you attempt to enter your registration on a different device in a browser, your registration code will authorize the new device, and your old device and or browser session will expire. Um, so I'm curious what you guys call them. What do you guys call carbonated beverages? Do you call them Cokes, sodas, pops, sody pops, fizzies? I'd be interested to see that. Why don't you tell me what you guys call them? If you're asking somebody or if you're wanting to get one, what do you call them as a general rule? So in the southeast, generally, they're all called Cokes. A 7 Up is called a Coke. Hey, get me a Coke. Which one do you want? 7 Up. 7 Up is not a Coke. It's an Uncola. That's what they proudly profess. But in the South, it's called a Coke. We don't call them sodas. We don't call them pops. We don't call them fizzies. We don't call them belly washers. We call them Cokes. And that's how I was raised, is calling them Cokes. But it's so funny hearing somebody call it a soda or a pop or a sody or a belly washer or carbonated beverage. Sodas. Yeah, there you go. I've got a I've got Luke good figure. Have you ever had it? No, I've not. The Star Wars figures that I have are the droids. So I've got the R2s, all the astromechs that Hot Toys and Sideshow have made. I'm waiting on the new Hot Toys astromech that comes with all the accessories. I've got the Sideshow C3PO with the silver leg, and I bought two other C3POs that were made by Medicon made one, and the other one was made by it's really old. It's like from 1977, and so I have those pop here in the UK. Sodas where you are, Noble Young, and pop in the UK. And it's so funny because you'll say to somebody, if I were to say to you, like you, where you have sodas and pops, if I would say, get me a Coke, you would get me a Coke. You would go get me a Coca-Cola. That's a Coke. Or maybe an RC or a Pepsi because those are also colas. We appreciate your patience. We will continue to update you as inventory runs low. Oh, that's nice to know. But if I say, hey, get me a Coke, and I'm talking to like one of you from someplace other than the South, you would bring me back a cola. You would bring me back some type of a cola, an RC or a Pepsi or some other cola. I guarantee that's what you'd bring me if I said bring me a Coke. And I'd really be like, nah, I want a Diet Dr. Pepper or a Mountain Dew because those are all Cokes. So, and in the South, somebody said you want a Coke and you didn't want a Coke because you wanted a 7 Up. I would imagine you'd say, nah, can I get a 7 Up? And it's like, why does I offer you a Coke and you said you didn't want one? Now you want a 7 Up? Make up your mind. Do you want a Coke or not? It's so funny. I call it pop, but I'm a former Chicagoan. Chicagoan? Is that the proper way? It's not Chicagoan. It's Chicagoan. Interesting. Problem is, if you get Luke, you need Han, and then Chewie, and Princess Leia, and Darth Vader, and on and on and on. Yeah, I know. That's why I was trying to just get just the Astromechs. And in order to get the first BB-8 from Hot Toys, you had to get Rey. So I have a Rey. I would gladly sell her. She looks great. They put her in a Phicen body, so she has her non-jointed knees and non-jointed elbows, and I had to tint the body darker to match Rey's complexion. And I did a pretty good job, and I darkened her nipples on her breast. They actually kind of show through the material, which I thought was nice to have.
So she, I would happily sell her because I don't care about Rey. The whole new Star Wars thing, big huge disappointment for me, it really is. But I still like the droids. Still like the droids. It's like this new Rey, which I'm calling the pissed off Rey, comes with a droid called a DO, and I really don't even remember the DO droid even in the movie. Do you have a special character in your last name, like an accent, umlaut, or hyphen? Please make sure you enter the special character if you are selected for a registration session. 9:27, 27 minutes, 28 minutes. It's not looking too good, is it? I wonder when they close it. Oh well. Um, yeah, but I feel you. When I see the juiced Jazz Inc. Um, 1/6 scale Millennium Falcon cockpit, I'm so tempted to say, "Oh yeah, I want one of those." And then of course you have to have Han and Chewie and Orlando or the other guy. I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry. I don't remember his name. Lando's buddy traveling in the Millennium Falcon, just like you were saying. I'm just missing the droids and Old Ben from Episode 4. Yeah, I've got all the astromechs, and I've got the C-3PO. Let me go show you those. It says I've got 15 minutes. I can go for a little walk. I'll show you those. I'll show you my little Star Wars collection of what I have so far. Got them on 2 shelves. Get some light over here. All right, so the good guys, more or less. Not really, because there's some Imperial mechs over here. But I've got that's a Hot Toys R2-D2, and these are Sideshow R2-D2s. And one is the deluxe that came with all the stuff, and one is not. And it's interesting that the legs are different, even though they're called the same. The legs came differently. And then this is, all these other are Sideshows. So R2-D2 prototype, R2Q5, and I don't remember, R2J4 or something. Down here are the R5s and the BB-8s, and the BB-9, and my stormtroopers, different stormtroopers, and then this little droid guy here, which I don't know what he is, and the little mouse droid, and there's my Rey. So this is my Star Wars shelves for right now. And yeah, I definitely need to get a Luke and an Obi-Wan to go with the land speeder. But I love the little astromechs. And Rey turned out good. She looked really good as the Phicen figure to get rid of the joints in her elbows and her knees. So I was really pleased with that. But I'm just not a Rey fan. Just not a fan of Rey. And there's my Stan Lee holding the Infinity Gauntlet. He's signing. I have him signing the Infinity Gauntlet, by the way. Custom Loki over there. Mark 6. Daredevil. Leonidas. The Slave Girl. Doma and Daphne. Mandarin down there. Captain America, my custom Red Skull. And Johann Schmidt in his outfit. That took a lot of figures to customize that. Electro, Spider-Man shelf, Mark 5s, Holy Grail, Ant-Man and Wasps, Mark 7s, 1/6 scale Centipede, Iron Man 3, the Iron Legions showing up. It's what we called them back then. Now we call them the House Party Protocol because of the Iron Legion. Let's go see if we got selected for San Diego Comic-Con. Are you working in a badge buying group? We strongly suggest working with people you personally know and trust if someone from your buying group is caught selling their badge. All badges in the order will be canceled, including yours. Don't risk it. Should we plug this in? Should have put a red cape and gave her muscles. Ray? Talking about Ray? Give Ray a red cape? Oh, what was it? I noticed what was new and announced this week. Besides Pissed Off Ray, we have a Sideshow's come out with a new Wonder Woman, and it's kind of like the traditional Wonder Woman. It's $244.99, 1/6 scale Wonder Woman figure. She looks pretty good. I found that interesting, and that's for sale at Big Bad Toy Store. $244.99 pre-order. What slave girl was that? My own slave girl. I took a Phicen Sparta warrior. So I wanted Leonidas to have a Sparta warrior. And I was like, you know what? Leonidas doesn't need a Sparta warrior. Leonidas needs a slave girl. So I made a slave girl out of a Sparta warrior. What was it that was new? Something else was on here. So she's my own slave girl, my little Leonidas slave girl. Okay, so there's an Arkham Prisoner Jerome figure by Black Box Toys. It's a black and white striped figure. I assume it's supposed to be a Joker. I'm not really sure. There's a 1/6 scale Mark I diorama, which is an anvil on a tree stump and a bucket for cooling. They show a Iron Man 1 Tony Stark creating an Iron Man helmet in this, but I don't remember a tree stump in that cave where he was hammering out the iron armor. But I mean, it works if that's the story that you want to do. There's a 1/6 scale Macbeth figure by Pop Toys. These are all available on 1/6 Outfitters. It's another place that I purchase figures from. So Big Bad Toy Store is my default section. It's where I go to buy all my toys. If they don't have it, then I go elsewhere. So there's a Professor Mutant figure by CGL Toys. It's the McAvoy, not Patrick Stewart. It's the McAvoy. It's McAvoy, right? Professor X, and of course there's still the Peter B. Parker and Spider Gwen's and Miles Morales and Edith's sunglasses and the Infinity Stone gemstone storage case that Cap uses to get the stones back to where they go. Preview night badges have sold out. Badges for other single days of Comic-Con 2020 are still available. So it looks like I'm not going to preview night. But from my understanding, once I get into like San Diego Comic-Con, so if I get chosen this year and go to San Diego Comic-Con next July or whatever it is, next year I don't have to go through this process. I'm already considered able to get in there. The Wonder Woman TBLeague body, no, I don't think it is. It's a sideshow figure, but I do notice, if I remember looking at it, that she appears to be seamless. But I don't think it's a TBLeague body because it's made by Sideshow. It's not made by TBLeague. Let's look at. Let's go to the Phicen website. See if they are showing Wonder Woman on their site. And they are not. They are showing a 1/12 Purgatory, a 1/6 Phantom Killer, a 1/6 Anubis, a 1/12 Arion Pirate, 1/6 Vampirella Jose Gonzalez 50th Anniversary Edition. But no, there's no Wonder Woman here. And it says Sideshow, so I'm assuming they're using their own body. So what body would that be? "12-inch figure made of plastic, body type developed by TBLeague. So it is a Phicen figure. There we go. Highly articulated seamless joints, sculpted hair, articulated ankle joints. So it's a Phicen figure. Looking at the pictures, though, the head sculpt and the body don't appear to be the same shade. It doesn't look like Linda Carter, but it does look like what I would expect Wonder Woman to look like from the comics and the television show from back in the day. Looks like what I expect Wonder Woman to look like. Yeah, that's a Phicen body. It says TBLeague. So that was your question, and I told you no, but I was wrong. Saturday inventory is running low. You may not be able to purchase a Saturday badge if you are selected for a registration session. Oh well. If I get a Friday, I guess Friday would be all right. Sunday would be difficult for me. I would rather not get a Sunday. Friday would be okay. Saturday would be perfect. 38 minutes. I haven't been chosen. Interesting that Phicen doesn't have that Wonder Woman on their page, because normally they do. They have all their joint endeavors listed as well on their page. Interesting that they didn't have that. Quite interesting indeed. Oh, there's a Toys box has now a Spider-Man Hall of Armor Toys box set case. So it's an homage to Spider-Man Homecoming, where Tony shows Peter the Iron Spider, more or less. If I'm reserved to the fact that it is the Iron Spider, but I'm not 100% sold on it being the Iron Spider. But at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony takes him to, Avengers headquarters, more or less, and up pops this case, and in it is what it looks like the Iron Spider without the attachments on the back. So Toys Box now makes a Spider-Man Hall of Armor for that. It's remote controlled. The lights come on and off, and the door opens and closes. It's round, so the door opens and closes, and it closes in like that. And it is currently selling for probably $110. It's about what Toys Box sells for. 110 bucks. This is on Toys Wonderland, which of course Deke has forbidden for being mentioned on 1/6 Society, because he's full on sold out to Sideshow. Sideshow sends him on trips. Sideshow gives him figures to review before they're released to the public, and so he's a full on sponsored by Sideshow. So he's a little jaded in his opinion, and so anybody that causes a problem for Sideshow is an automatic enemy for a John Deke, and Toys Wonderland causes a problem for Sideshow, because Toys Wonderland will sell you the figures straight from Hong Kong quicker than Sideshow can get it to you. So anything that anybody can do to make Toys Wonderland look like a schmuck operation, they're going to do it. So Saturday badges have sold out. Badges for other single days of Comic-Con 2020 are still available. And that's only if I get randomly selected to be able to purchase a badge at all. But anyhow, they are selling the Toys Box Spider-Man Hall of Armor. And it looks pretty neat. Remote controlled, turn the lights on and off, and you can open and close the door to reveal it. Now I imagine you can get them on eBay and wherever else as well. It says 2020 Q1, Q2 release. It is 20.8 centimeters wide by 39.5 centimeters tall. ABS and acrylic. And it looks pretty cool. It's a definite purchase if you wish to display your Iron Spider in that manner. Another one of those figures that, you know, I wish I had multiples of. For that reason right there, as it is. There are 3 things you'll need if you are randomly selected for a registration session. Your Comic-Con member ID, got it. Last name, pretty sure I know what that is. And credit card information, got it. Got a messenger message here. Let's see what that is. Awesome. So the Mark 47 has been received well. This is the message here. And he is asking, what am I asking for the MMS 101? I have one, but with no box and shipper. MMS 101. What's the MMS 101? Let's go see. Let's open this up. My listing of all my hot toys. Of actually my entire collection. I have it on an Excel spreadsheet. God, who's calling me? It'll tell me in a minute. Jesus, guys. I've got to take this. Sorry. So, see y'all next week. It will be with Landspeeder. I hope. Bye.
Hello.